Mr. Crowther here. For this lesson too, we wanted to take you through a couple of Desmos lessons, one on basketball, one on golf, and then look at what a quadratic equation is and how it affects a parabola, and finally finishing up with some recall of evaluating quadratics. So I want to talk about quickly the standard form of a quadratic equation, and that is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So this is your typical form of a quadratic. Now, if we think back to linear, we had y equals mx plus b. And exponential, we had y equals a times b to the x. This is the quadratic standard form. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. A, b, and c are called the coefficients. They are going to be numbers. As always, but as a reminder, x and y are going to be your variables. They're the things that change, the coordinates, the points. For every x value, there's a y value. And lastly, something very specific to quadratic equations, the largest exponent will always, always, always be 2. So if it does not have a largest exponent of 2, if the largest exponent is 3, it's not quadratic. 4, not quadratic. If there is no to the second power, not quadratic. This is what makes it unique, is this to the second power is the largest exponent. The second thing I wanted to take you through, and there's a quick worksheet on this in the lesson 2 of this week, is just evaluating a quadratic equation. Remembering what that to the power of 2 does, I wanted to look at a negative number, 0, and a positive number. So we're going to use this equation, y equals 2x squared plus 3x plus 5. I'm going to evaluate it for the 3 numbers in our table. So we'll start off with negative 4. And I always like to use parentheses when I'm putting in my numbers that I'm evaluating, as it helps me remember my order of operations. So wherever I see an x, I'm putting in negative 4, because that is the x value I am working with in this problem. Now I've got to remember my order of operations. Exponent first. So negative 4 squared is 16. Now remember, if you're using a calculator to do that, you got to put negative 4 in parentheses. Your calculator is going to think 4 times negative 1 if you don't, which will give you negative 16. Any negative times itself is always going to be a positive. 3 times negative 4 is going to be negative 12. Two times 16 is 32. And 32 minus 12 is 20. And 20 plus 5 is 25. So when x is negative 4, y is going to be 25. So let's look at how it happens when we put in 0. Again, my original equation, y equals 2x squared plus 3x plus 5. And I'm substituting 0 in for x. Anything times 0 is 0. 0 squared is 0. So 0 squared being 0 times 2 is going to give me 0. 3 times 0 is 0. So I'm just going to get 5. So whenever we have 0, y is going to equal our c value, or this last number in the equation of standard form. Whatever this number here value is for c, when x equals 0, is going to be equivalent to that. And that is your y-intercept. And finally, let's plug in 3. Again, exponents first. So 3 squared is 9, not 6. 3 times 3 is 9. Plus 9. 2 times 9 gives me 18. Plus 9 plus 5. And if I combine all of those, 18 plus 9 is 27. Plus 5 is 32. So when I plug in 3, I get 32. So a quick reminder on how to evaluate things that are raised to the second power when you plug in a number. Again, very short lesson for the week. It's a lot about playing around with parabolas and getting familiar with the shape and what happens with each of the coefficients. Hope you guys are all well, and we will talk soon.